Welcome to Monkey See,
Monkey Review.
where this week we are going to be discussing. Oh, wait. We don't have a new episode. Okay, so. Wow. Did you get up on Wednesday and have like a little bit of loneliness?
Absolutely, man. I loved all the memes, like me waking up and no episode of Loki to watch.
Right. Just people just like so sad on the side of their bed,
Yeah.
looking out at the ocean like, what do I do in my life? Yeah. Dude, that was definitely me this week. So we did something fun, and this is what we're going to bring to y'all this week. We spent our week kind of going through different ideas and thoughts, and how does the ending of Loki, episode 6, impact and change what we know for the MCU going forward?
Not even going forward. A lot of people are saying from Endgame,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So this has been the plan all along because, Loki disappears middle of Endgame.
Yes.
So theoretically, all this could have taken place before the end of Endgame,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Because we really don't know how time flows at the TVA.
Well,
And then how much time has actually gone by with the various missions. And then
Right.
when they go back to the TVA,
right.
have they,
Yeah. This is one of those episodes where
what happens, right?
this is one of those episodes where it bakes your noodle if you sit there and you start thinking on one certain aspect of it for too long. But from what I understand, when we see the Citadel in episode 6, we see the sacred timeline going around the Citadel in a singular line, in a circle, meaning to me that the beginning and the end, and then it just restarts, reincarnation, which Immortus, the what was the word? My brain just completely shut down on what they called him. He who remains. He who remains even makes the reference to being reincarnated and coming back. He says to Sylvie, last words are, "See you soon," right before he takes out.
Yep. So if he's no longer there in control of the sacred timeline,
Right.
everything branches back out.
Right.
So I'll be back.
Right. So my question is my question, like it was just a question. That's cute. There's so many questions. Yep. Meaning, one thing, and like we talked about the other day when we talked about rewatching Endgame and how it can now in the new context and the new light of Loki episode 6 and the multiverse now happening, we know one of Thanos' favorite phrases is, "I am inevitable." Does he have some knowledge about, no matter what happens in the timeline, I eventually will become stronger and greater than anyone else? Because we know, I'm the comic book nerd, Brandon. He catches the overflow. There is a story in the comic books where he works with Kang, and Kang knows the end of Thanos, and he becomes a universal being, meaning he into himself through different means becomes a universe and all-encompassing. And Kang actually makes a deal with him saying, when you become this, now this is all comic book, people follow, okay? And he sits there and says, give me my own pocket dimension where I can rule my own universe. Could that be something that we see play out now, that for Kang to reach his potential, he had to have the Avengers take out Thanos? And that's what happened in the way Endgame played out.
Could be. Like I said, at this point, when you go into the multiverse, anything can happen now, right?
Right.
Which is brilliant on their part, right? You do 10 years of story.
Right.
You bring in Thanos, and then, we put a bow on it. It's beautiful. What everyone wanted to see finally happens. Epic movie.
Yeah.
And how do you top that?
Right.
Like, that's what everyone's like, how do you top that?
Right.
Literally one of the best build-ups in cinematic history. Probably the best.
I'm going to say the best.
Probably the best.
I'm a Star Wars diehard, but I'm going to say that right there was the best. 17 movies?
Yeah.
Bro.
All combined leading up to this one epic, well, really two-part movie, right? But
it counts.
The last movie, right?
Right.
No one's ever done it, right?
Right.
No one's ever had the infrastructure, the money to build that.
Right.
Even if he had some movies that didn't do quite as well,
Right.
they could continue on their story, right? Because Disney's massive. Like,
Yes.
even though if one movie may not blow out the box office,
Yeah.
the
Looking
next
at you,
one
Black
will.
Widow. Sorry, but looking at you, Black Widow.
Well, yeah, that was just bad timing all the way around.
Well,
It would have been better last year.
thank you.
Yeah.
I said if they would have released this movie 2 years ago, before Infinity War, even in my opinion, it would have been a completely different game
Yeah,
for her.
yeah.
I would have loved to have seen it, and I think it would have actually had a whole lot more weight going back to watch it now
Well-
if it came out in proper order.
Yeah, because you think about it, I mean, it was supposed to come out before any of this series,
Yes.
so it would have set up the introduction of Madam Hydra
Yes.
right at that point.
Yes.
So very interesting.
Yes.
Would have even set up Hawkeye.
Yes.
So if you haven't seen the movie, that was a spoiler right there.
Yeah.
For the end credits.
If you're watching this episode, let me go ahead and tell you, you know going into this one,
spoilers are coming at you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like even the tagline, spoilers, we're discussing possibilities.
Yeah. So, but yeah, multiverse, right? So
Right.
anything can happen. That's one thing, looking at other like trilogies and movies and
Yes.
stuff like that. When they re-released Star Trek,
Yes.
when they came out with that, they did a time jump,
Yes.
travel back in time. Anything is possible at that point.
Yeah.
So it's brilliant because you can't make all the super hardcore fans extremely mad because it's no longer the same timeline.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
So now that we have the multiverse again, anything is possible. right?
Absolutely.
So it's just
Which also,
exciting.
yeah, the multiverse, which also plays into the fact that we still have not, as of the time of this shooting in July, us shooting this video, we still don't have a trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, because I mean they've been speculating that we're having the Spider-Verse, right?
This is going to introduce the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they waited to the end of Loki before we will get a trailer, which we
Should be
still,
any day now, right?
It should be.
Because that's what comes out.
It comes out in
year.
December.
Yeah,
Comes out in
so-
December. So your first trailer, you usually drop 9 to 10 to 12 months before
Yeah.
the movie. But
Everything
there's a lot of
pushed back,
speculation
right.
of why they haven't. And the biggest speculation is because of the fact that they're scared everybody will go back down into lockdowns. And then it'll push the movie back again. They don't want to drop a trailer. And you have 2 years like they did with Morbius,
Yes.
the vampire.
Yeah.
They dropped that trailer. It'll be 2 years in, I think, a month since they dropped the trailer for it. I think August, September, in that range is when they dropped their first trailer. And it's been
insanity.
2 years.
It's
And
insanity.
they still don't have a solid release date for it. So that's huge. That might be part of the reason why we haven't got the Spider-Man, because of the multiverse implications, because of real world implications of COVID and the things like that stopping the industry from moving forward. But so that's just a random tangent. But the reason all this connects is because of the multiverse and the fact that it is now broken wide open.
So anything can happen, right?
Yes.
And then you're getting most likely going to get the Spider-Verse. We don't know
Yes.
that officially, but it's going to be awesome if they do that.
Right.
But we now have confirmed that Kingpin will make his.
He will make his MCU debut.
Yeah.
The same actor that played the Kingpin in the Daredevil Netflix series has been confirmed to play Kingpin in the MCU.
So there's a rumor that Charlie Cox is coming back as well because he canceled his con appearance now that they are reshooting some scenes of Spider-Man. And
okay.
it lines up with the same timeline of when he was supposed to be at the con.
Yes.
And now he canceled that appearance, so is he filming his role again
Right.
for the MCU and making his debut again? Which I would love that. Like,
I would love that.
I've loved him as Daredevil.
Yes, I'm 100% in. Like, I'm 100% in. If we're going to save any of the Netflix series, give us Daredevil. Daredevil was the one that was the most consistent, the best developed, the best character development, in my personal opinion. But I loved it. I'm 100% in for that. Give us Daredevil in the MCU.
Yeah, I love Daredevil. I love Punisher because the actor was
Right.
phenomenal. And
Right.
even Luke Cage wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
The actor itself, he
Yes.
played the role really
Yeah.
well,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Yeah. So, this literally, the ending of Loki, episode 6, changes everything to the point that everything now is possible.
Yeah, because we've had a lot of people, asking us like, okay, does that mean that Cap at the end of Endgame, is it from a different timeline?
Yes.
You know, and I would say yes.
Okay.
It has to be from a different timeline.
Well, there's a great story there because of the fact that when it came out, the writers said, no, he just merely went back and nobody ever saw him hanging out in Peggy's house, which made no sense to us. The whole time jumping Endgame, for my nerdiness and my nerdy self being in this genre most of my life, never made sense to me. Like, I sat down, I watched it, and I listened to people talk about it, and I'm just like, okay, so yeah, okay, no.
Some of it, and then some of it's like, you know, I love that part in Endgame where like, wait, every time travel movies lied to us up to this point?
Right.
Like trying to like
Hot
play
Tub
it
Time
off?
Machine?
Yeah.
So I was, but like I watched it again last night. I'm sitting here going, no, none of this makes sense.
Yeah.
None of this makes sense until you apply the logic that we just got with Loki and breaking the multiverse.
Yeah. So anything is
Is possible now.
You know, and there's a lot of things, you know, people are saying that even WandaVision, the end of WandaVision lines up with that point in Loki, right?
Yes.
So
where she becomes the Scarlet Witch and takes on her crown, and that's when
they cross the threshold, right?
You go over the threshold. He's like, we just crossed the threshold.
That's why I lied. You know, like I told you I knew everything was going to happen until about what 6, 7, 8 seconds ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's exciting.
So there's that point in the story where if it lines up correctly, and I personally believe it does. I believe that's the Kevin Feige effect where he plans out everything so perfectly and minutely that it just, you know,
because he said that
perfectly goes together.
Steve was from a different timeline.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
so he said that yes.
The
Probably
writers,
anticipation of multiverse is coming, guys. Right. So I know that this is where we're going now.
Right.
The writers may not know that yet, but I know because I'm the one directing the ship at this point.
Exactly.
Right. So
it brings into a lot of other questions like, okay, well, when are we going to get characters such as the Fantastic Four?
Yep.
When are we going to get the characters of the X-Men? Which I'm a huge X-Men fan, have been since I was like 10 years old. Mm-hmm. When are we going to get them? This now gives us the opportunity not only just to have X-Men in our universe, but to bring over the Sony characters potentially into our universe, which brings up the whole question again of what was his name from? He played Quicksilver in WandaVision. You know who I'm talking about.
yes.
Anyways, Wanda's brother.
Yep.
He played Quicksilver in the Sonyverse.
Yep.
Now he is, or in the Fox universe, excuse me, Fox universe. He played Quicksilver in the Fox X-Men universe. Now he shows up as this random character that is like Charlie Boner or whatever his name is in the story. Well, her being a Nexus being, could she potentially have unwillingly brought him from the Fox universe?
Yeah, 100%.
Especially,
and he doesn't know. He doesn't have his memories still, right?
He had his mind, scrambled. This really can change a lot of the questions that we've had. Yeah. Another question, from even WandaVision, like there's so many questions that we still don't have answers to. Like just a throwaway question was, whatever happened to Wu's, what's his name? The character that he was looking for that's in the witness protection program. We never got an answer to that.
Yeah, true.
So could that be somebody else that's now going to be influenced by the multiverse and it breaking? Yeah. What are the implications of this? What is Doctor Strange's role in this?
I think that's going to be a crazy movie.
Dude, just the things I'm hearing about the villains in this movie are going to be insane.
Between Doctor Strange and then Ant-Man.
Yes.
I mean, I think it's just going to be...
Well, you've got Spider-Man, which I think is going to be the movie that brings in the multiverse.
I think it's just going to bring Sony into the multiverse, right?
I think it's going to
tie into the MCU, hopefully. Because, I mean, that's just going to be awesome.
And this honestly will be a perfect opportunity for them to bring in Miles Morales, too, the African-American Spider-Man from the Ultimate Universe, which they've adopted a lot of the storylines from the Ultimate line of comic books into the MCU So I think we're really within about a year maybe of getting a Miles Morales story, and I think they're really waiting until I would love to see him show up at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
I think that would be a great little tie-in. I think Kang. I wonder how many different versions of Kang Immortus that we're going to see
through the next
phase,
movies or series.
Yeah. So are we going to
pop up in?
Are we going to take out one at a time, or are we going to wind up having one that leads them all? Which I think, because
he said
that's a storyline.
They battle each other, right?
Yeah.
So does He Who Remains come back on top again?
Right.
Right.
So there's so many implications from this, and I think how. But it keeps coming back to me for Thanos asking the question, or saying his statement, "I am inevitable." What does he know that we have not had the opportunity to speculate on until now, knowing that there's time travel involved? Mm-hmm. It's huge.
Yeah. So there's even rumors about Chris Evans reprising his role as Captain America, right?
Yeah.
But is it going to be our Cap or a different version of Cap?
See, I don't think it's going to be. Okay. Had a phone call today talking about this. He's like, I think Chris Evans is coming back as Captain America. I was like, I don't think so. He's like, dude, no, I totally think he is, because with the way that Loki ended. I was like, no. Let me explain this to you. If he comes back and he's going to be our Captain America, we're going to get a story of his time with Peggy Carter, going back in time,
which would be cool.
Which I'm totally down for. Yeah. I think that would make a great Disney Plus series.
Yep.
I don't want a movie about that. I want a series about that, because that gives you time to even. It could be the way that series ends is him walking up to that bench with the shield in hand as the old man.
Yep.
I would love that. I think that would be Kevin Feige. Call me. But but I think what we're going to get. I think if we do get a Chris Evans coming back and he looks like a Captain America, he's actually not going to be Captain America. He's going to be a different version from a different universe, like
Captain Hydra,
that was such a controversial storyline in the comics. But I think it would make perfect sense to bring it back in this capacity for this storyline. What if? Like, we've got so many what if stories coming out where Peggy Carter takes the super soldier serum and she becomes the Captain Britain. So there's rumors out that she's going to do this in the animated series, but then she's going to come over and become Captain America in live action.
That'd be cool.
In one of the multiverse stories. This also potentially gives us a out on how to move forward with Black Panther 2.
Yes. Yeah, I thought about that too the other day. If that might change how they do certain things with doing the multiverse. So I'm very interested to see what they do with this.
And because I had this conversation again. Like, I've had a lot of phone calls today, people asking questions about this, giving ideas. I was just like, this is their way to do this and bring it in where they don't disrespect Chadwick and they don't disrespect the Black Panther brand. I say Black Panther 2, which has already been titled Black Panther Forever, Wakanda Forever.
Yep.
We have Shuri come in and take over the role. She becomes the Queen of Wakanda. She becomes the Black Panther. And then we have a multiversal storyline tie-in where we have a Black Panther from a different universe come in who doesn't look like Chadwick, doesn't sound like Chadwick, but embodies that presence that Chadwick brought to the story for Black Panther. That way you can move back to having a king of Wakanda. Nothing against Shuri, but I just don't think her stature is going to fill the role. She played her part as the sister and the tech person too perfect. It's going to be difficult for a lot of us to see anybody else step in and be the Black Panther. She can do it, but I think with the multiverse potentially where he winds up getting stuck in our universe.
Yeah, at the end where maybe they shut down the multiverse.
Right.
Where he's...
Or his universe gets destroyed in a multiversal war, which we know is coming.
Yep.
Just from what we've seen in the episode 6 of Loki.
Yep.
So he gets shuttled off to our universe, and then he's able to, gradually grow into the role of being Black Panther for our MCU. So there's a lot of implications here of what can happen. Loki season 2 coming up. I really feel like we're going to see some crazy stuff.
Yeah, because I mean we've already know for sure that Tom is reprising his role in Doctor Strange, right?
That's the rumor.
Is it still rumored? I thought that was a confirmed.
It depends on who you talk to.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's confirmed, right? Because that'd be interesting to see what happens with him there, and then that would probably lead into Loki season 2.
So we know he said that on his 40th birthday, he turned 40 back in February. He was actually on set filming in full Loki gear. There was a picture released yesterday of him at his birthday party in full on the set. He's still dressed as Loki. His birthday cake was a tesseract.
That's awesome.
So that was nerd moment. That's balling. But so that's just more confirmation that the story is he really was on set filming as Loki in the traditional, not the variant costume that we saw in Loki, but in the actual Asgardian garb. So he's filming for something. The only thing that makes sense to me is Multiverse of Madness. Because I don't think you would be filming this early for season 2 of Loki, knowing that it's going to probably be another year before it comes out.
I mean, it could be filmed right now because they go into post-production.
But
for a while.
There's too many scoopers out there that are going to drop hints and say, hey, we know they're filming for this.
Yeah, but they can maybe disguising it as the
they could.
Multiverse of Madness and like, oh yeah, by the way, guys, we got Loki season 2 next year.
Yeah, like I really will hope so. Like, believe me, I hope so. Yeah. But I don't think we're going to get it until after. Definitely until after Multiverse of Madness. We're not.
I would agree with you, but it could be.
It could be. Right. Disney and Kevin, they do crazy things. Yeah. So I think where we're going though is we're going to have another huge multiversal war. Like that's pretty well established if you watch.
So that's gonna be our next big Avengers level event. Now that's going to be interesting to see who it's comprised of.
Yes.
Right.
Because now you will not only just have Captain America, you could have Captain Hydra, you could have Captain Britain, you could have...
you got U.S. Agent.
You got U.S. Agent. You got all these other characters that are coming in. And that's a whole nother thing. Like, where does Val and her team of Thunderbolts fit into this? I really think they're getting ready to kind of drop or move away from the General Ross aspect where he was going to be Red Hulk. There was rumors that was going to happen. But, personal things have happened. Things have come out in the news about him. I think they're going to move away from him and move it towards Val being the one who starts the whole Dark Avengers and that whole aspect of it.
Or they'll replace him.
They could, but they did a lot of work to bring him in from the Universal storylines of the Incredible Hulk. Like he's the same general who played, Thaddeus Ross. Yeah. So I think they're going to move away from him. Plus, they keep dropping hints about his heart attacks.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So they may move away from or replace some character just because of personal health issues.
Yeah,
right?
It could be a lot of different reasons.
I mean, really, we got the mad multiverse, right? So we just bring in a different.
I mean, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you can do a dozen different people.
So, I mean, there's a lot of different options.
In a comic book story, they had a red female Hulk, and she actually turned out to be Betty Ross, his daughter, Bruce Banner's love interest, which I think honestly. We need some Hulk stories. I know we're getting She-Hulk. I know we're getting that story coming up. Also, this year alone, it was confirmed that we're going to have Miss Marvel and Hawkeye drop before the end of the year.
Yes.
That's 2 more huge series that I'm expecting a minimum of 6 episodes from.
Yeah, because that's kind of been their trend, right?
Yeah, 6 episodes. 6 to 8 episodes. I think that's where they need to stick. I think that's worked for them. I think that's where they really need to hang out.
So I think most people would be okay with that as long as they continually.
If they can tell a story, if they can tell a story like they told in 6 episodes of Loki and 6 episodes of Hawkeye and 6 episodes, dude, give me 6 episodes. I want more, but I will glad to take 6 episodes.
Yeah, because we're still getting more than we would get with a movie.
Absolutely,
we're getting 6 hours of content.
Exactly.
Which
you're getting
is awesome.
You're getting 2 to 3 hours or 2
you're
to 3 movies
basically getting
worth of
Infinity
content.
War and Endgame.
Yes.
each one of these series.
Yes.
Right. If they do it right.
Spread out over 6 weeks series.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think we're gonna see probably in the next 2 years, because we have pretty much everything we know of. Now I think because of COVID, things shifted.
Yeah.
I think some major plans have been altered. Some characters have changed, and another thing I heard recently that Kevin Feige is no longer doing contracts with actors to be in these movies because everybody wants to be in them now. That they're just like, hey, you can have me for as long as you need me. So that's a huge statement. Do you think we'll get a new Tony Stark?
That's going to be tougher to pull off. I think that we are eventually going to get a new Tony Stark, and that person's going to have really big shoes to fill.
Yes.
All right, because basically, Robert Downey Jr. pretty much started this whole thing.
Right.
Iron Man kicked it off, and he played that character so well that it really picked up steam. And I don't think Marvel would be where they are at today without him.
Yeah.
I think he was just perfect.
Right.
And Iron Man was just an incredible movie. Now, the rest of his series, not so much, because you start here and then there's like,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, and then you got the third one, and you were just like, what?
I did that movie could have been so good.
It could have been.
So
hey,
aggravating.
think about it like this: in some multiverse out there, the third one's better than the first two.
Yeah, it's true, but not reality at all. I mean, like I said, they didn't do his character justice in his own personal movies. I mean,
Right.
They really did much better within the Avengers and stuff like that. But,
Absolutely.
and then, but yeah, no, it's gonna be big shoes to fill. Even if Chris Evans, if they bring back the traditional Captain America, right, it's gonna be hard to fill that role as well because he played the part perfectly too. I think he did a really good job playing Captain America.
Absolutely.
And his story arc through his 3 movies were my favorite.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah.
Out of each, main character's trilogy.
Yeah.
That was my favorite overall.
Yeah.
Because it just was
he was
the most consistent.
About to say, he was extremely consistent. You had great character development, not just his character, but his supporting cast characters as well. They all feel like they all got their own great story to develop themselves. And I mean, look at Bucky. I mean, Bucky was so well developed in that series. You loved him in the first one, mourned when he died, found out in the second one he didn't die, and then in the from there you're just like, oh, we need to set this right. We need to bring him back. Yeah. Like, we need to fix this.
I mean, you even bring in a lot of things with S.H.I.E.L.D. and what happens with S.H.I.E.L.D. and things like that through his movies. Yeah. So they're just great movies.
Absolutely. Man, there's so many different aspects of this that we can dive down, and so many different characters that we can point out. Marvel has a huge future ahead of them.
Yeah, I mean, I love DC stuff.
Yes.
And DC has tried a few times of starting what Marvel has, but I think they have the mindset of, we want to be where Marvel's at now, and they don't really realize that they have to build the universe. Yeah. And they start, and then they fumble, yeah. And then they just, we'll start again. It's like, because they've had some characters where people have loved. Yeah. Like Aquaman, Wonder Woman. Now, the last Wonder Woman movie, not the greatest.
Yeah.
But her as Wonder Woman was great.
Yes.
Right?
Her development as Wonder Woman was really good in that story. Story itself was rather bland. Yeah.
But Marvel, Marvel, they got it going on, and then at this point, it's anybody's ball game. Right? Absolutely. They can do whatever they want to. Like I said, I think they will bring back in Iron Man at some point because he's just a fun character.
Well, we know we get Armor Wars coming up, and then we're going to get Ironheart after that, which are both going to be Disney Plus series. Yeah. I think in those 2 series, we could potentially see a young Iron Man show up. Yeah. I know in Ironheart we get a female, young African American woman who is as smart as Tony Stark and actually finds a piece of his tech and retro engineers it and figures out how to create her own armor.
Yeah, I'd probably see a young Tony Stark or a young Iron Man.
You want to know what's funny about that? You want to know about the funny thing about the young Tony Stark?
What?
Or the quote-unquote young Iron Man is Iron Lad. He is a young version of Kang.
That's interesting.
He is a young version of Kang who does not want to grow up and become Kang. So he actually goes back into the past and portrays himself as a young man who learns how to use Iron Man tech.
That'd be awesome. Even if it's just like a
and
series.
It's full circle.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I would love that. I think that would be absolutely fantastic. So there's so many great plots and so many great points and characters that they can bring in and just go from a huge universe to an infinite universe, which is where we're going.
They're teasing, the Dark Avengers. They're teasing the Young Avengers.
Yes.
Now we have, the Multiverse of Madness coming up and the Multiverse War. There's a lot of things going on. I mean, they are really being meticulous on how they introduce things and how they started things. Because, Falcon and Winter Soldier, they really started pushing the Young Avengers.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, a lot going on.
Yes.
So, Marvel really is setting up probably the next 20 years.
If they're not setting up the next 20 years, it's got to be the next 50 years.
Yeah.
Like, Kevin Feige, I swear, is going to have scripts written for even after he's gone. So they just have to follow the blueprint.
Yeah.
Which, I'm down. Do what you got to do.
Yeah, because it's fun. They're fun movies.
Yes.
And especially if they build on each other. And then we're getting series with movies. I mean, it's just going to be fun.
Oh, it's incredible.
I'm really hoping that they do something similar with the Star Wars universe.
Yes.
And that'll pick up steam better than where they started.
Where we're currently at.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I'm happy where we're currently at with the shows. They've been a lot better.
Shows have been fantastic.
Yeah. So
we've got the Kenobi series coming up too, which, here's another thing. Somewhere in the multiverse, that's all connected to Marvel.
That'd be awesome. I mean, it's all connected to Marvel because Disney owns everything.
Right. Yeah. They're all connected to the mouse.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, dude, we could really go on and on about this. Like, there's so many other questions, which we may actually, next week, what we might do is sit down and go back and rewatch Loki and WandaVision and things that have open-ended questions that we don't have answers to, and come back together and discuss that.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things going on in the series, and all three of them so far, and a lot of open-ended.
Yes, absolutely.
Where the way they did end it, okay, where are they going? How's that going to tie in to the multiverse in general?
Yeah. Right?
Absolutely.
So, I mean, if y'all want to see us actually talk about some of that, leave us some questions. Leave us some questions. We'll do that next week. I'm complete. Yep. I like this idea.
So you can either comment on the YouTube channel, or you can also like us on Facebook.
Yes.
And you can post there with some questions, and we'll go through them and pick out some good ones, and we'll talk about it.
Absolutely. I love this idea. All right. So, dude, I really want to give a rating. I don't. We got our formula. We got our little. So it's a little weird being out of sorts here.
Yeah. So this is interesting. Like I said, we've been only reviewing actual content, not just speculating, talking about stuff. So it's different. Yeah. Different flow of things. Kind of jump off and tangents about different things. Which a lot of people have said that's how we're the best. Yeah. Right? So we just talk about random things and just let it go.
We go down rabbit holes, man, and just rabbit trails and just chase it all down.
This leads to that, and that leads to that. And that sparks. Oh, what are we talking about now?
Wait a minute. Where were we?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like the round table.
Right, exactly. So, but all right, guys, we love y'all. Thank y'all for being here. Do us a favor. Like,
subscribe,
leave a comment, and share this with some friends. Because let me tell you, we're growing. Our YouTube is growing. Our Facebook is growing. We're looking at going into some other social media aspects. So help share this. Get it out there to your friends. We love y'all, and we'll see y'all next week.
Bye, guys.